guys. Happy Friday. I have my braids back in my hair and I have the cowgirl hat on, cowboy hat on. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear. I'm hot. Give me a sec. All right. So it's Friday, panel night. Honey, I'm trying to be cute putting her hair to the side, but it's hot. Shit. Put this fan right up here under me. There we go. All right. So I'm going to have a good panel. Honey, I don't see your face, Naeem. I hope you camming up tonight. And I have Gray from the new party. George don't got his ass up here yet. Everybody want to be on CPT time. I know it's Friday, honey. I'm like casual today too. Casual Friday. So to the topic, because I like these panels. The topic is is the African Union using FBA identity to steal our reparations? I say yes. I did a show this Wednesday, talking about the term African American. It's time for it to go. It's time to get rid of African American because it is. Give that to the Black immigrants from Africa. Yeah. Ugh, I'm hot. But I want to go a little bit deeper because I did bring up the African Union website and how they're trying to colonize reparations and make it a global thing throughout the diaspora. So the Caribbean, Black America, South America, and the whole continent of Africa could be one big reparations pot. And my thing is, who's going to be in charge? It ain't going to be nobody from Black America. Which grifter from Africa is going to be in charge? But Black Americans, we need to push back and make sure that it doesn't happen. And they're not taking away from our reparations that is owed to us here in America. So that's the overall topic and theme and discussion for the panel tonight. Let me bring in Gray. Hi, Gray.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Let me make this a little bit bigger. And so Gray, you're always a trooper because you are a Democrat and you have a lot of Pan-Africanism ideology because you don't have a problem with reparations being for, like, we all share, everyone throughout the diaspora, the African diaspora share the reparations pot. You are okay with that?
Yes.
I'm not. But it's a lot of times it's always hard. Let me move this out the way. I still got my shirt behind me too. Oh my God. I was gonna put this shirt on tonight. It's always hard to find a lot of antagonists, right? And you're always down to come on and stand your ground. So I appreciate you being here tonight.
Of course.
Let's see. Naeem, honey, are you there?
Yes. Why can't you see me?
I can't see you because you probably got the green screen on. We just see your logo, which is upside down.
It's backwards.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I do have the green screen on.
And right. But do you need the green screen, honey?
Hold on.
Because we can't see you at all. I just see your initial now.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's what it is because I had StreamYard up. I had to reboot my computer. Just give me a few seconds. Give me a few seconds.
Well, you don't have StreamYards up now because this is Restream. So
I know, but the camera may have conflicted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I think happened. Just give me 1 second. Let me refresh.
Okay, so I'll put you backstage. And if you need to drop down, that's okay, and come back in. So you probably need to do that. Yeah, he did. Okay. And I'm waiting for George. What's that? Oh, here you go. Wait. Oh, that. Yeah. Naeem. I don't know. He's still working out his camera thing. People, y'all need to stop trying to be fancy. Just get a white wall, just a regular wall sometimes. Like, don't try.
This is live, John. Dana, your mic just muted. Okay.
Yeah, no, it does that with the thing.
Okay.
What is that
Oh,
bell
my
noise? Was
bad.
that you? Oh,
That was my fault.
no, it's okay. Yeah, Jay Rosin. I mean, we're about to get into it. George is supposed to come on. I had a couple of other guests. I should have reached out to Men's as well, but I do have some clips. Thank you, Walter, for the Cash App. Thank you. All right, let me just check something else. No, wasn't that. Okay. All right. Okay, now I see you, Naeem. You're good to go.
Peace, peace. What's going on, family?
Hey. All right.
How's it going?
So I don't know. I don't think we need a whole bunch of people. Now, George is supposed to come. I don't know where he's at. So he'll pop in, I guess, soon enough. George Macon from Street Media. So I want to start with Naeem because you've been here, I think this your third time, but it's been a minute. So introduce yourself, Naeem.
Peace, peace. What's going on, everybody? My name is Naheem Way. I am president and co-founder of United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, also co-founder of Be the Power Political Advocacy Group. I gotta set this caveat. I do not represent any other groups. I don't care what they call themselves. I do not represent that. Freedmen first, Freedmen conscious, Freedmen only. So I want to put that out there before we get started.
Okay. And Gray from the New Party.
Yes. So for me, I'll be representing the Pan-Africanists tonight. I have the New Party channel. This is Dana hosted this. I saw people asking the question in there. Dana, I've worked with Dana for like I think almost a year now. So like she's hosted them on her channel tonight. So we streamed it to the New Party channel. Basically for me, I feel like we all are products of the diaspora and that we have a much better chance going to the United Nations and asking for reparations than we do as just a singular group in America. And I hope that we can have a productive discussion. And, I'm in Florida, so it's very diverse. And we have a lot of Black immigrants down here in Florida.
All right. So let's get started. All right. Where do I want to start? Because it's a lot, but it's not a lot. Actually, let me share this first because this is where the whole idea came from. Let's see, where is it? Okay. So I don't know if you guys seen this. This is from the African Union.org. 2025 year reparations, justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations, right? So they basically, it says the year of justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. This initiative underscores the AU's commitment to addressing historical injustices, including the transatlantic slave trade, colonialism, apartheid, and genocide. It builds on decades of advocacy and collaboration, aiming to foster unity and establish mechanisms for reparatory justice and on a global scale. And it says here, having reparations for Africans and people of African descent offers the AU the opportunity to take leadership on the Africa reparations agenda, as well as bring together the African citizenry and African diaspora to build a common and united front for the cause of justice and payment of reparations to Africans for historical crimes and mass atrocities committed against Africans and people of African descent, including colonization, apartheid, and genocide. So it's a whole thing to do. And also, the part of this African Union, they have this AU 6 region USA. And this is the African Unity 6 Region USA Foundation is the official African Diaspora Initiative network established to mobilize, galvanize, and organize structure and unite the African diaspora in collaboration with the African Unity 6 Region Canada to the motherland. The African Unity 6 Union USA is a network of people of African descent, individuals, and their organizations, including both nonprofits and for-profits. The AU6RUR USA network is expected to be engaged through strategic programming and work to elect representatives for the USA in the African Union Assembly, in line with the African Union Constitutive Act article, which invites the African diaspora to participate as an essential component in building of the African continent and to build sustainable partnerships between the African continent and the African diaspora through sustainable dialogue and effective collaboration with governments for the rejuvenation of the global African family as an instrument of a wider renaissance, and ultimately to enable the African diaspora to increase their participation as observers in the affairs of the African Union and as the sixth region of the continent that will contribute substantially to the implementation of policies and programs. So they're bringing us into the fold, the Black Americans, because apparently nothing doesn't move properly unless we are involved. We have the resources, we have the consumer economic power, right? And we have our deep rooted lineage here in America. And now the African Union wants to colonize it to make it one. So one reparations for all in the diaspora. And I'm saying absolutely no. So that is the foundation of this discussion. I do want to start off by playing a clip because I do have some questions here. But I do have a clip that I kind of want to go to first. Let's see.
Heads of state and government are deliberating here at the African Union Commission in Addis Ababa. This year, the continent has set for itself a theme that will focus on justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. The African Union seeks to recover what is owed to Africans both on the continent and in the diaspora, acknowledging the profound harm caused by the transatlantic slave trade, slavery, colonialism, and neo-colonialism. Western countries, including Portugal, the United Kingdom, France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, and the United States of America, played major roles in the slave trade. But how will the African Union achieve the long-sought justice? Some countries in Africa are already demanding what is rightfully theirs from former colonial powers. The DRC, for instance, wants compensation from Belgium. The European country has acknowledged exploitation, racism, and acts of violence in the DRC. Namibian communities whose ancestors were brutally killed in the genocide perpetrated by German colonial forces and had their property seized more than a century ago want Germany to own up and formally apologize and pay reparations. France, which dominated more than 20 countries in Africa, is losing its colonial grip. Countries like Ivory Coast, Chad, Senegal, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have cut military ties with France and ordered French troops to leave their territories. In Kenya, the scars of British colonial atrocities during the Mau Mau struggle for independence remain alive more than 6 decades on. The African Union says colonial powers that took away what belongs to Africa should be made to pay. It says continued recognition and documentation of the impacts of colonialism and slavery on African societies are crucial for the evidence to remain. According to the African Union, compensatory payments to African nations and communities affected by colonial exploitation could involve colonial powers investing in infrastructure, education, and healthcare to support economic development. Africa wants land to be returned or communities to be compensated for lost territories. The continent is demanding that lost African heritage be restored through funding for cultural institutions, education programs, and the return of cultural artifacts. All this, the African Union says, can be done by involving diplomatic pressure or even legal actions at the international level. And this is one of the continent's key priorities in 2025.
All right. So that's the beginning of this conversation. African Union colonizing Black American reparations. Is the African Union colonizing Black American reparations? Because I don't know. I don't think that African Union and what they're doing with this diaspora reparation has nothing to do with Black Americans. I don't know what they mean by African descent. So, and hi, George.
What's going on, Danny?
Hey. So,
am I sound good?
Your sound is good. Yes. You still ain't get the mic, but your sound is good.
I got a mic right here. I got a mic.
Okay.
I probably need a better one.
Okay. All right. So who wants to take on the question? Is the African Union colonizing Black American reparations? Who wants to go first?
I would say that they're not. I would say that they're looking at the situation and saying, like, okay, like, how do we rectify the situation? All of these people came from Western Africa, will distribute all these countries. And when you saw in there, they're saying France no longer is a colonial power. So France, like, basically created Haiti. They probably don't even have the money to pay them back. And so Germany and Belgium, they mentioned as well. I don't know what specific countries that they said. So I think the complexity of having to like figure out what country owes what group of people in what country is so complex that they're trying to make it a more simplified version and say, okay, well, all of us went through this, so we're all going to get paid.
All right. Naeem?
Well, peace. No, they can't colonize it. But, you know, what they're trying to do with this African Union move is connect with Pan-Africanists in the United States. And our experience with these Pan-Africanists has been one of contention. And the reason why you're hearing so much pushback coming from the grassroots is based on that fact. If you look at what happened in California, you've seen a bunch of Pan-African obstructionists. They ensured that this thing did not happen in California. In the state of Massachusetts, we are working on, which I've shared with you before, we've drafted and have legislators submitted already at the state level. And it's the Pan-Africanists who try to get us on their side with their Pan-African bills so they could add this all-inclusive language. Ron Daniels, the head of, I can't remember if it's NARC or in Cobra, they're all the same to me. Which one? IBW 21? Mm-hmm. That's like the parent organization of NARC and Cobra. So when IBW 21 gets $3 million, let's just say from the MacArthur Foundation, 1.5 goes to NARC, the other 1.5 goes to NCOBRA. So Ron Daniels said that I don't care if they got off a plane last week, they deserve reparations. This lets me know that these people have no understanding of the reparative process. And anybody that believes that the United Nations who just sat by and watched Israel indiscriminately bomb Gaza, at will, that it is going to somehow enforce the United States of America to implement reparations for the American freedmen. They're out to lunch. They're not dealing with reality. They're in Wakanda somewhere. So I just wanted to add my two on that.
Just a little FYI. Oh, let me come out real quick. Just a FYI, the IBW, CARICOM, and NARC, they are a part of that African Union .org reparations thing that they're trying to do. So they're using African descent and created this USA 6 region to link us with them. And these American-based organizations like the NARCs and the NCOBRAs, IBW, CARICOM, even though that's Caribbean, they're using that as that bridge, which is a major problem because I've been a part of IBW over 7 years ago. And I know the conversations that they have behind closed doors. And let me just say this, and I'm gonna go to you, George. On the surface, it may sound the way they're trying to sell it may sound good. Okay, unity. If we all fight together, we can overcome white supremacy. But when you peel back the layers, it's still white supremacy there. Because my question is, if we all in agreement of this one world of reparations for the African diaspora, who's in control of it? So it's us bowing down and relying on whatever country in Africa, and Black Americans, that's just something we're not going to do, because at the end of the day, we are American. But go ahead, George.
I think am I muted?
No, I unmuted you.
Oh, okay. I think when having these conversations is difficult because we already know we can't allow those African countries to do anything with us, so speak on behalf of us. A lot of our stuff been hijacked, and a lot of people use the things that our grandparents fought for to benefit off of. Going into the reparations conversation, we got to talk about all the things that was on the books here that was specifically supposed to be for so-called African American people that turned into people of color and everybody benefited from. So once we deal with that part, and then we get to the reparations conversation, you have to talk about who's representing us. Who are the people that's going to be the vanguards of the mouthpieces speaking on behalf of the grassroots? Because a lot of the grassroots people don't get along with a lot of these people from the church and Cobra and these people that's been speaking for us. We're not working together. There's a big disconnect. So when we look at HR 40 and all these things that's been on the Congress floor and all these stuff for years, for me, honestly, if you want my opinion, I believe that after our grandparents' era, after the death of Dr. King if you go from 1970 to now, right after our grandparents, that next generation that went to our parents, what have they done? It's been a colossal failure since 1970. Nothing has gotten done. So those people that's been in charge since then, we can't trust them to do anything, let alone trusting the Africans. It has to be a whole new thing coming in and being done over because it's been a failure. That's my opinion.
Yeah. So the next question I want to ask: does Pan-Africanism benefit Black Americans? And can there be some type of pro, or is it just all kinds? So does Pan-Africanism benefit Black Americans?
No.
Absolutely.
No. Let me jump in. I had a debate about 2-3 years ago on Sister Dr. Mayat's channel. That was the topic of the debate, the question that you asked. Does Pan-African, whatever ideology, benefit us? Can we use it in any way? I was debating a brother by the name of Asa Imhotep. And, my brother Ali was on with me. Shout out to my team, Be the Power, and United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. And, it was embarrassing because he couldn't provide an answer to the question. The United States of America has a sound. It hasn't always been fair to us, but it has a sound judiciary that a lot of nations across the country do not have. This is why they have United Nations transitional justice programs where they're trying to implement measures to whereas the courts of other nations can run without corruption, et cetera, et cetera. Uh, the United States of America is not beholden to a lot of the United Nations provisions. When you're listening to Pan-Africanists, everything that they say is in international parlance. They're not speaking in American judicial terms. And I know because we just had a debate with Cam Howard and another brother from, again, I don't know if it was Narkin and Cobra, one of them, they all the same to me, in Boston this past October. And it wasn't even close, right? It was not close. So when the two things are side by side, the people get to see it. And when it was all over, everybody came up to us because they knew that we had the solutions. They knew that we had answers. 2 years ago, Los Angeles, Lamert Park, there was a reparations concert hosted by Cam Howard's organization, Reparations United, along with Sister Tara Perry's organization, Black Pack. I was invited to be one of the panelists. Cam Howard and Robin Ruth Simmons, avid Pan-Africanists. They were on that panel with us. We cooked so much, Robin Ruth Simmons didn't even want to talk. Then when we spoke, it was, yeah. And when they spoke, it was, nah. When it was over with, everybody was just grabbing me in the crowd. Nobody wants to hear that, and I want to be clear. I'm not xenophobic. I'm not one of those people that have problems with Africans. If you got a problem with us, we got a problem with you. As simple as that. You bring smoke to us, we're going to let out the Game of Thrones dragons on you. It's just as simple as that. But other than that, we don't do the xenophobia, none of that stuff over here. But that element doesn't belong in our space, that Pan-African element. Look at what they're doing right now. Whose permission in the grassroots did they come to? They didn't come to our organization, and we are major players in this reparations space. They didn't come to any of the organizations in California who are also major players in this reparation. I'm talking about the people that got work that you can touch and, see that is legislation, et cetera, et cetera. So this is something that they done on their own, and I'll land by saying this. White America has always viewed us as grown children that it could helicopter parent. And people from other places, along with many of our leaders like Marcus Garvey, they also looked at us as if we were little children and capable of thinking on our own. And them taking this action is indicative of exactly what I just spoke about. We reject the African Union's proposal because it wasn't given to those of us who are really putting in work for this reparations movement, period.
Okay.
What I would want to say is to talk about something nationally that happened in America and benefited from Pan-Africanism. Obama's father is not African American; he's an African, and it was an African that had a baby with a white woman. Yet everyone said this is the first Black president, and that this is like such a consequential moment in history, and that changed a lot for Black people. Obama becoming president. And he was considered Black, even though his father is African. So that's something nationally that has benefited Americans. And as far as Pan-Africanism as a whole, if you look at mixed race children, whether that's white and Black or whatever other race, you have these people now that are considered Black, and they are a part of these cultures around these people that can speak on the behalf of Black people around these people. So we work better as a unit, and we can get way more as a unit than we can do divided. Anytime you divide, just divide and conquer. So for me, I would want to work with people rather than work against people.
Well, let me say this because that has absolutely nothing to do with Pan-Africanism and what my brother just explained. The problem is two reasons why Pan-Africanism don't work. Number one, when you use invoking Africa, the people of Africa, the indigenous people, don't control the land or the resources. It's being controlled by your open enemy. So you're not going to be able to what Pan-African supposed to mean. You're not going to be able to practice it because you don't even run your country. That's the first part of it. The second part of it is when dealing with Pan-Africanism, most African countries don't have. And my brother at the bottom, I forgot your name too. He used to wear the fez all the time. I remember you signed at the TV.
Oh yeah, Naheem, Lord Abba.
Yeah, Lord
That's
Abba.
my other name, Lord Abba. Lord Abba Naheem.
Yeah, we met in person a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah, but the second problem is most of these African countries practice nationalism in their culture. They're not practicing Pan-Africanism. And I think the problem that we have is we're coming into a time now where so many people have had microphones and they're speaking and they're leading our people astray, where they're not really realizing or understanding what Pan-Africanism is in the first place, right? Where it's a collective movement of us sharing resources and working together. Nigeria gets kicked out of every African nation they go to, right? Ghana and Nigeria hate each other. They don't practice Pan-African. If you in Ghana and you go to Uganda, you are an immigrant. You don't belong there. So what I'm saying is they don't practice Pan-Africanism. They practice nationalism. The problem is when we were growing up here, especially most of us over 45. When we were growing up, everything was about Africa and the fist and the motherland is a black thing you wouldn't understand. The red, black, and green medallions, everything was facing to the eastward, Africa, right? While we was practicing this, Africa wasn't practicing this. And a lot of our people are starting to wake up to the reality that Africa is not this utopia that we was told. They don't practice Pan-Africanism, they practice nationalism. So no. We got to understand what actual Pan-Africanism is. What my brother was talking about at the top was just people, just in America, people working together because you got in close proximity. That's not Pan-Africanism because you can sleep with a white woman and make a baby.
Hey, share my screen real quick, Sister Dana. I'm going to be real brief.
I didn't know you could do that. Oh, okay.
All right. So this is one of the articles I did 2 live streams back to back on this, right? If this brother is saying that Obama is representative of Pan-Africanism, then that's even more reason why we should reject it. These are reputable sources, Jacobin. These are political news agencies. How Obama destroyed black wealth. I'll click on, and I'm gonna just run through it real quick. I'm not gonna really read anything, but I want people to see that these are some of the topics that we've covered on our platform. The nation's first African president was a disaster for black wealth. That's not the only one. Destruction of black wealth during the Obama presidency. People's Policy Project. Black wealth dropped 30% under Obama Biden. The Intercept. Obama's housing policies led to decline in black wealth. This is one of the ones I always share and I'd like really get into. People's Policy Project, how Obama destroyed black wealth. Obama didn't close the racial wealth gap. This is one of the ones that was produced by Dr. William Darity. How Barack Obama failed black Americans. The country's first black president never pursued policies bold enough to close the racial wealth gap. So my brother, if you want to use an example of how Pan-Africanism has worked for us, you can't use Barack Obama because he was a disaster for the American freedmen, point blank, period.
I would like to respond to that first. To George, I feel like you're talking about more of like the government, what the government is doing. You're saying, okay, Nigeria don't like Ghana, this country doesn't like this country. The government isn't following this type of Pan-Africanist movement. They're doing what makes sense, what the economics are saying in their country, what they're saying socially, what the government feels like is supposed to happen. Naheem, to say that Obama did this to black people, Obama brought us from a recession. And I don't want to get involved in politics because, you know, we're talking about FBA stuff. But
I'm not. I'm talking about American freedmen stuff. I just want to be clear. But go ahead.
Obama as a president is consequential just as being a black president, and also bringing us back from a recession and getting things back right, and, you know, the economy growing. So I don't feel like Obama was supposed to do stuff specifically for black Americans. He was elected to be the president of the people. And I know that a lot of people try to say, oh, he didn't do anything for black Americans. That's not his job. But one thing I will say that he did for black Americans is that he added the body cams on police. So now we see when black men or anyone else is harmed by the police, it's on footage.
Real quick, Sister Dana, and I don't mean to be, but when I hear this stuff, I gotta correct it in real time. Can you share my screen again, real quick? Because this brother, he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. He's not studied this topic at all. I've just gave article after article that we didn't read, and if we want to, we can read it. I think Sister Dana is frozen. Yeah, Sister Dana is frozen.
Yeah, she is frozen. She's standing too stiff. She not moving at all.
Because I want to show this brother who Obama helped, because it wasn't us. You don't get articles coming out from economic think tanks saying that Obama destroyed wealth, black wealth. You don't get articles from the top socio economists in the country saying, and then just dismiss it as, oh, well, Obama made sure that the police have body cams.
And now he also made the statement about Obama not doing things for other groups. And I got a problem.
That's right.
I got a problem when I hear black people say that. And all due respect to you, like, I'm gonna be no disrespect to you, but you should be ashamed of yourself when you say something like that.
That's right.
Because in America, white America haven't voted for all these white presidents and governors since the inception of America without expecting something specifically for them and their groups and their communities and things that benefit them. The Asian community, the gays come together and got their flags and put together their institutions of what they want to get things specifically for them, and they got things specifically for them. So what I'm saying is, when you make that statement, when the civil rights movement was created and our people was moving, we were doing things specifically for us, like bills that was passed for us in the military. There was things set in place specifically for us because of what we were going through. There's a bunch of federal laws on the books that's supposed to protect so-called African American people, but it's been hijacked into people of color. So when you make that statement, like, you got to be careful, because we on the internet and everybody can hear you talk like that, and it's being said in blatant ignorance. Because no other group would ever come on here and say they're not voting for something specifically for their group. That's not how it operates. That's not how we operate. Why do you think you got lobbyists and you got all these things? Like, we got to stop talking like that.
Share my screen real quick, Dana.
Let me respond to him 1 second, Naheem. Let me respond.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
Go ahead.
George, you can't compare what happened with African Americans or even anyone in the diaspora based on European whites. European whites traveled and went to countries and built societies. Black African Americans were brought here with only 13% of the population. So you want a man who was elected by all these people to go up and say, hey, I know all y'all elected me, but I'm going to do something for 13% of the population. They attacked this man for wearing a tan suit. Do you imagine what they would have did to him if he would have said, hey, I'm about to do stuff specifically for black African Americans?
I
finish.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
let me cook real quick. Let me cook real quick. So this is under Obama. I'm not going to read this. U.S. has added 1.1 million new millionaires under Obama, says study. See, the other thing was a study as well. That study showed that Obama's policies gutted black wealth while he was fixing everybody else, while he was creating the conditions that caused what's called quantitative easing. We were hemorrhaging from our middle class on down to the bottom. What you're talking about is just absolutely crazy. another myth is that our population group is the minority here. I want everybody to look up, go to Wikipedia right now and pull up ancestry in the United States. And it's going to give you an ethnic breakdown of all the people here. And there's going to be a list. The top of that list is going to say German Americans. And this number fluctuates. My brother Ali always contests that top number as the number one ethnic group in the United States of America. The second largest ethnic group in the United States of America is the American freedmen. You take out those people, them German Americans, that's probably double dipping, and we are possibly the largest ethnic group in the United States of America. Now, when you add all of these other groups together and you make it a racial thing, where you got Hondurans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Colombians, et cetera, that the Democratic administrations just let waltz across the border and pad their numbers. Well, then if you look at it through that lens, well, yeah, they outnumber us as one big group. But when it comes to ethnic groups, we are not the minority in this country. We are either the first or second largest ethnic group in this country. Last point. The Asian American population is a small population in this country compared to ours or anybody else's. And this is the Asian American population collectively. When Biden first takes office, there was COVID, and they were trying to push this bill, the Asian American Pacific Islander community, AAPI, were trying to push this bill so that it was just money. It was a money grab. They used COVID as a money grab.
Yeah.
Right? So Macy Hirono, senator out of Hawaii, and Tammy Duckworth, senator out of Illinois, told the Biden administration that if you do not pass this bill and put money attached to it, I think it was $300 million a year. I don't know how long that lasted, but that first year they definitely got $300 million. Then when it's time to appoint your Supreme Court justices, et cetera, we're going to sit on our hands. This is what this brother is not versed in politics. He has absolutely no clue on, which is what most I debated Cam Howard face to face. He didn't know what the hell he was talking about. We debated him. We pretty much debated him on that stage in Leimert Park. He didn't know what he was talking about. We debated him live and direct in Boston last October. And this is the premier Pan-African, right? The creme de la creme of Pan-Africans. And brother, man, you simply do not know what you're talking about. You don't.
Can I interject something with Obama? I just want to interject a little bit of the bullshit because it's Friday. Can I play this clip?
Yeah, I know it.
It's my husband.
Oh, this ain't the one where he's saying black men need a gay black man in their lives. Is it? Oh, God.
Yo, he really said that? I thought that was BS. He really said that?
Nah, man, this dude said that. This dude is a sucker, man. We
so
don't rock with this dude.
This is Michelle Obama and her brother's podcast, and her husband, right, popped up as their guest. And of course, you know, he makes stuff go viral because of what he said.
Welcome to IMO. Look at you.
Wait, you guys like each other?
Oh yeah, really? Huh?
That's so
The
nice.
rumor mill. It's my husband, y'all.
She took me back.
Now don't start.
I can't.
It was touch and go for a while.
It's so nice to have you both in the same room
I
together.
I know, because when we aren't, folks think we're divorced.
Let me tell you. First of all, see, I'm in Wichita, Kansas for Austin's tournament,
Uh-huh.
and you know, this podcast has made me quite popular.
You're a big shot.
Famous.
And people come up to me all the time. This woman came up to me and she was so nice. She's like, "Can I have a picture?" Yeah. And then, so you know how you get the side hug? And she's like, "What did he do?"
And you knew she was going to say what he did.
He. And I was like,
it wasn't like, what happened to him?
That is so
It was like,
terrible.
how'd he mess up?
how'd he mess up? And I said, "Well, what makes you think he messed up? Why couldn't it
Well,
been
why
her?"
did you just say no one messed up?
Well, because I wanted to keep this conversation going so that I could tell you about it.
Oh, Lord.
I was like, what? And she's like, "He did something, didn't he?"
Oh.
I was like, don't worry, everything's fine. And let me tell you, she was so happy, you would have thought I gave her a Christmas gift.
These are the kinds of things that I just miss, right? So I don't even know this stuff's going on.
Right.
And then somebody will mention it to me and I'm all like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
There hasn't been one moment in our marriage where I thought about quitting my man. And we've had some really hard times. So we have had a lot of fun times, a lot of adventures, and I have become a better person because of the man I'm married to.
Okay. Don't make me cry now. Right at the beginning of the show.
See, but this is why I can't talk. See, you can take the hard stuff, but when I start talking about the sweet stuff, you're like, stop, no.
You're doing great.
Thanks.
Those of you who do not have sons, so Emma, we are rooting for you because those of us with daughters,
we need good men.
We've got to have good guys out there, not necessarily to get married, but to make sure that what we're learning, I think, is that when we don't think about boys and just assume they're going to be okay because they've been running the world and they've got all the advantages relative to the girls, and all of which has historically been true in all kinds of ways. But precisely because of that, if you're not thinking about what's happening to boys and how are they being raised, then that can actually hurt women. And I would argue that some of the broad political trends we've seen, not just in this country, but around the world, have to do with this sense of, boys, men not feeling as if they are seen, feeling as if they count. Mm-hmm. And that then makes them more interested in appeals by folks who say, you know what, the reason you don't feel respected is because women have been doing this, or this group has been doing this, or that group's been doing this. And that is not that's not a healthy place to be.
Okay, I was trying to find the one when he said about the gay thing or whatever, but listening to him,
it's coming up. It's coming up.
I got
It's
it. Well,
coming up.
that was the end of that clip. I got to
Okay.
But he's like a Debbie Downer. Like, even outside of him not being president, he's still just talking in circles. Like, I don't know.
Hey,
You
gotta touch.
But brother Naeem, you what I'm about to say, you know about this because y'all taught civics for a long time, right? When I watched this, because I've been studying this for so long, he's doing a script, the 2030 agenda. You heard about the 2030 agenda, brother Naeem?
I've not heard it. Break it down real quick while you're giving your spiel.
When you talk about the 2030 agenda for sustainable development and rights for women. When you watch TV now, you see all these women in masculine roles, right? They're social engineering you to normalize women and equality. They want to have full equality around the world. I tell people, everybody's listening to me talk, just Google UN 2030 agenda and women's rights. And you're going to see them having meetings at the UN all over the world, trying to get women in prominent, powerful positions of equality, global equality. So when all of these powerful people are using these talking points, and they've been doing this stuff in the last 10 years, but most people don't look stuff up or study, so you don't know where it's coming from. Go watch a movie. You'll see a woman playing the Incredible Hulk now. All that stuff is to normalize certain things to get you to be, they're destroying the old way of thinking to bring the way of thinking. So you got a female president in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, Italy or Spain as well. So you having women coming into prominent positions by 2030. So what they got to do is bring in the Robert Stahl toxic masculinity and all these talking points that down male masculinity, because they're bringing equality for women. But the way that we all can sit here and respect Dana as a woman, but when they have an agenda to do it, it's going to come through from an evil perspective. You have to demonize your sons in order to uplift the daughters. We don't have to do that. Just treat everybody right. But that's not the way that they do it. So I tell people, if you don't understand what I'm telling, Google UN 2030 Agenda, Sustainable Development for Women, and read it. Look at what the women are saying in different countries around the world. Look at the UN. She was one of the presidents for women's rights, global women's rights. All that stuff is right there. It's right there for you to see it.
So so now we got on Obama. I want to swing back to the how can African Union or African diaspora conversation, and I want to play this clip because you see this a lot on people who may have TikTok accounts or X. They're just posting, their thoughts out loud, which can sometimes be annoying and they sound a little bit ignorant. So I want to play this chick here.
Who started this whole big trend of foundational Black America and American descendants of slavery? Why is this a thing? Why are we at war with this thing? If nothing else, I guess I would be an American descendant of slavery. Did y'all know that slavery started in the Caribbean before it came to America? Those slave ships used to stop on what's now considered the island of St. Vincent. Did you guys not know that there was slavery also in Jamaica, Panama, Cuba, Venezuela, Haiti, Nicaragua, Belize, Guatemala, and that we were all on the same fucking slave ship, but some of us got dropped off at different ports? But as I stated before, the slavery prototype was from the island of Barbados. It started there first before it even came to America. And now I have people in my comments telling me that, oh, I'm not black, and that all of my I can't talk on black men. I can talk on y'all motherfuckers because I date y'all, because I'm black too. So let me give y'all some history, because y'all are a little confused between ethnicity and race. So let's talk about that first. So, as a child born in New York at Harlem Hospital, can't get no blacker than that. Today I took out my weave. If you go to my other video, you saw me being unbelievable. I took off my weave and I got me a wrap, a doobie. If you know, you know. Black. I got a whole weave up in my hair. Black. Not like white people don't wear weave, but we're not talking about them. I'm talking about me and my blackness, and y'all telling me that I'm not black enough. So, in Harlem Hospital, Black Hospital, where I was born in 1970, my birth certificate says that I am a single female child, H for Hispanic, because Latino was not a thing. Latino was a new term. So I guess Latinos are processing along the same way as black people, because it used to be Negroes, then you were black, then two other things. Now, well, colored, we're not going to go through it. Now African American. But this term FBA got y'all losing your motherfucking minds, because slavery was started in the Caribbean before it even came to fucking America. We were enslaved just as you. We all fought for to make it where we are. Some of the greatest civil rights activists have been of Caribbean descent, like Shirley Chisholm, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Kwame Ture Stokely Carmichael, aka Stokely Carmichael, Maya Angelou of modern day Maya Angelou. So Caribbean people have played a significant role in the advancement of FBAs. And there are many that I haven't mentioned, but I'd be more than happy to do a list. But I don't know why.
Okay, so that was the end of that. I want to, Naeem, honey, where you go? So I want to get, first of all, and this is what I mean with a little bit of ignorance, is because people need to refresh themselves with Black American history, which is part of American history. You know, all the I'm gonna let you guys talk on it, but she said slavery started in the Caribbean first before it came here, and Maya Angelou and Marcus Garvey and you're talking about three people. And listen, I don't have a problem with people from different backgrounds and nothing like that, but Caribbeans did not help shape Black America, our history, or our progress. You did not. You may have marched, you may have been a part of an organization, but you did not. Nobody did except for us here. So who wants to comment, reply, say what on this?
I'll say this. The problem that you have is a lot of those groups are taught from the time that their children, that Black Americans don't have no culture. And you hear them say that all the time. Busta Rhymes talk about this. If you're American, you have no culture. It's all their stuff. They have this idea in the way that she was talking. She has no knowledge of our story. If you listen and you know a little something, she indicted herself in the conversation, because when she made the statement as to all those brothers and sisters that came from the Caribbean, that lends to the conversation that Black America has always opened up our door to allow other groups in and put our arms around them and embrace them as our brothers and sisters. We've always loved the brothers and sisters from the Caribbean. Always. Brother like Schomburg from Puerto Rico, so many of them came over here. We always rock with him. Marcus Garvey became who he became, not in Jamaica. He became who he became in America because our grandparents and great-grandparents embraced him and loved on him. So when you deal with a Farrakhan is not FBA, but Farrakhan came here and embraced the culture, and we loved him the same way he loved us. So, but we can't go to those countries and become the leaders amongst them and do all that kind of stuff. So this is where the disconnect happens, because the elders of the past understood this. They actually practiced Pan-Africanism and practiced togetherness within the diaspora. In the last 50 years, there's been a shift. And a woman like this knows that they hear what we're saying. They know exactly what we're saying, but they don't have any respect for us. They want us to shut up and let them just continue to benefit off of us. When we're saying, hey, we loved y'all, we always open up the door. When Jamaicans moved into the Black community, when Jamaicans came to America, they moved into the Black community. They was with us. We didn't kick them out. There was no xenophobia. There was none of that. We was all together, especially in the East Coast corridor. When I was growing up, I'll be 50 in 12 days. When I was growing up, I didn't see Jamaican women or men with white women. They was in the community with us. We was all together, right? There's been a shift, though, somewhere. So now when we're saying, hey, we're going to separate and we're going to identify as this, I don't hear nothing when y'all got y'all own flags doing y'all Jamaican thing. I don't see nothing when y'all got y'all own Haitian flags doing y'all thing, or y'all Guyanese flags. And whenever y'all do something great, y'all start gunshotting and all that stuff, right? So now when we say, okay, cool, y'all still our brothers, we still love y'all, but we're going to do this over here for political reasons, for civic reasons, right? Now was a problem. So they understand what we say. They don't like the fact that we're doing it. We never see you people that make just call brothers and sisters from the Caribbean tethers, even when they didn't do anything disrespectful. I'm not really with all that. I'm a guy. I'm not really with the tether banging stuff. I believe us as Black Americans, we should be doing what we got to do to get ourselves right, understanding civics and law, and doing what we need to do. I ain't really got to argue with you and call you no tether. If y'all want to do that, fine. But they hear and understand what we're saying. They just being disrespectful.
Go ahead, Gray.
I think that when you hear people like this talk, they're talking about more of the source, because she's talking about something way further in time, where if we even look at Brazil imported the most Africans out of any other country before, when during the slave trade. So when you hear these people say this, they're basically talking about the origins, where FBA is talking about right now, where they're at and what they got going on in America. And pre the Civil Rights Act, you wouldn't have been able to separate yourself because they looked at us all as Black. So now that Donald Trump's in office, now FBA think they're white people.
What?
You just said FBA think we're white. What?
Yo, Armonte, where you from, Armonte? Armonte.
I'm from a small, and I'm gonna say this. I'm from a small town in Valdosta, Georgia. I'm from the country. I'm talking about what Black people live in one spot, white people live in one spot. But I moved to Florida when I got older. And I asked my social studies teacher, I was probably in like the 6th grade, and we was talking about segregation. And I said, so what if it's like a Spanish person? What if it's like a different person? Like, where do they go? And he said it was a place for white people and it was a place for everybody else. So for me, when I hear FBA, I feel like FBA feel this way, and I've heard FBA say this. They feel they have more in common with an American white than they do with a Jamaican, a Haitian, or African.
What? That I don't know
look
who you're listening to, bro. Where you got
where your family from? Your family from Georgia as well?
Yeah, they're from the deep south. Yeah.
Okay, because you're confusing me right now. And the only people that make these types of arguments are people typically that are from the continent or the Caribbean.
Oh, I'm being serious.
Well, Gray is not. You're not Pan-African, but you align with a lot of their ideology. But you are a Democrat. You are a liberal.
It walks like a duck. What's that saying?
But he will be considered freedman, foundational Black American, or ADOS. He will be. Yes, he is a Black American, but he aligns with Pan-African ideology.
I see. He needs to run in these circles over here so he could get a good education, because we not trying to hear none of that crazy stuff, right? I like to educate, and I'm gonna be brief. Share this real quick, Sister Dana. I like to educate. Share this real quick.
You got more damn slides than me.
This we do this 24 hours a day. So this is from an article from the Center for Immigration Studies, and it's called Immigrant Indigestion. A. Philip Randolph, Radical and Restrictionist.
Email me that.
Say that again.
Can you email me that?
I got you, definitely. The funny thing is the guy who wrote this, Daryl Scott, he sounds like Armonte right now. So he understood this when he wrote it. Now he's acting ignorant. But let's scroll that we've debated him and we've cleaned him up on several of occasions, my team and I. So let me real quick. Randolph and restriction. If the perceived contradiction between the restrictionist desires and inclusionist principles led civil rights leaders to silence, not all national Black leaders were silent. In August of 1924, A. Philip Randolph articulated the most thoroughgoing opposition to immigration. Quote, instead of reducing immigration to 2% of the 1890 quota, we favor reducing it to nothing. See, our ancestors fought for this. This ain't something white people just came up with, and those of us who identify as American freedmen or the other names that's being mentioned are running with. No, this is something that has been long running. He said, we favor shutting out the Germans from Germany, the Italians from Italy, the Hindus from India, the Chinese from China, and even the Negroes from the West Indies. This country is suffering from immigrant indigestion. I'm going to scroll down real quick and read this one. Certainly, Randolph also could be harsh on West Indians. Yet his basis of criticism of West Indians lay in their political shortcomings. not their economic competition or ethnic chauvinism, right? Because, these people thought that they, like today, were better than us. They thought that they were exotic. What's the dude, the Nigerian rapper dude that lives in Texas now? He said, he in an interview said, "Oh, you think I'm regular black?" Meaning
Burna
he
Boy?
believes, no, not Burna Boy. I don't know. I don't know this dude's name, but this is what they believe. Let me continue. It says, most notably, Randolph castigated West Indians for not becoming citizens of the United States. To challenge discrimination, blacks, he held, needed political power, and such power could only be garnered by citizens. Quote, "It is also elementary that whether one be a citizen or not, he is affected by the legislation of the country where he happens to reside." He called for black immigrants to follow the example of the Jews and the Irish who had become citizens to increase their clout. So this is something that was going on all the way back in A. Philip Randolph's days, the early 1900s, the early 1920s, the early 1930s. These people they came to this country on some, look, we're just trying to get our bag. And that's it. We don't care about we don't care about your fight or your plight. And these are the same people that tell their children, watch out for the American blacks.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out, right? The grandchildren and the great-grandchildren of the very people that A. Philip Randolph had to castigate are the ones that told their children, or meaning of the generations of today, watch out for those American blacks. Don't bring one of them home. Be easy with the Akata. Don't mess with no Yankee.
I want to throw this on there. Marcus Garvey, right? Was he an ally or a grifter? Because I read up briefly today. He gave a speech in Raleigh, North Carolina, back in the 1920s, and chastising Black Americans, saying if I had to rely on Black Americans to come down here to Raleigh, it would have took me 6 months. Dr. Umar, he's over in South Africa, and it's a clip here with him talking crazy about Black Americans. I thought I had it here. Oh, here it go.
You see your brothers and sisters, it's the same thing in America. You see your brothers and sisters over there psychologically confused, some of them, not most, but some, talking about they Native Americans. I'm a Cherokee Indian. Your ass is crazy. They won't even let you on a damn Indian reservation. I'm a Cherokee, I'm a Choctaw, I'm a Seminole. And all those Indian tribes used to own black slaves. Nigga, shut up. It's the same thing in America.
Yes.
He's right. He's a grifter, but he's right.
But black
what he
people
said
own
right there.
slaves, but black people own slaves is as well. So and yes, there were natives who owned slaves, not the majority, but that doesn't mean that Black Americans, right, don't have lineage with natives. On my mother's side, they do. My daughter, I ain't do the 23andMe, but my daughter did. But so we have lineage to the natives of this land. So he can't just everybody don't just have DNA coming out of Africa. But go ahead. Did y'all want to comment?
Real quick,
I want to spend. So the Marcus Garvey, was he an ally or a grifter?
He was a grifter. We dubbed him the Messiah of Mission Drift. We did a whole live stream about 4 years ago where we really broke Garvey down, just like Umar, when it comes to the topic of reparations and what our people need. He's utterly confused. I agree with him on that indigenous stuff. I don't believe in any of that indigenous stuff that a lot of these cats be pushing, talk about, oh, we have this and we have that. Prove it. They never proved it to me. So our ancestors descend from the African continent. That is a 1,000% fact. And the rest of it.
Naeem, I got pushed back there, honey, because now all my DNA comes out of Africa.
Not all. So what you're saying is you have admixture. But I'm willing to bet that if I pull up my 23andMe and your 23andMe, it looks similar. And mine shows 89% sub-Saharan African. 9% white European, and then 0.6% Native American. So am I to claim that 0.6% and start
No,
rocking
yours,
feathers?
yours say that, but I didn't do 23andMe because I think the government gonna have a piece of my DNA. But I digress. But
Oh, that's cool.
mine's not gonna come back. I don't want to say I guarantee, but I can guarantee that my native lineage DNA is definitely going to probably be over 10%, but here's the thing though, because on my mother's side, right, it's a lot of natives and they married white, but they weren't, because I was even told they weren't really identifying as black. So, and that's a whole nother panel that I could have, that I do want to have, when to talk about native versus, other or whatever. But there's still conflict within Native Americans, right? With darker people who does have a lineage claim, but are still not welcome there. So I don't want to go too far off from that. So I kind of want to swing it back to Marcus Garvey, because, reading on him, he would be considered somewhat of a grifter to a certain degree. What he was able to do and accomplish as far as organizing Black people here in America. Again, you had to come here and do it because he wasn't successful in Jamaica. They wasn't trying to hear that in Jamaica.
Yep.
So he came here, and Black Americans, foundational freedmen, whatever you want to name yourself, but Black Americans, a lot of them supported him. Now, he kind of followed under the Booker T. Washington, but that was somewhat, that was his tribe, you could say. But he was quoted saying that some of the things with Booker T, because Booker T was more like being subservient to white Americans to a certain degree. So Marcus Garvey was on the lines of Booker T, to whereas W.E.B. Du Bois was the opposite of Booker T, and I'm more under I'm more of the ideology of W.E.B. Du Bois when it comes to the talented 10th, but not that socialism stuff. But I do appreciate Booker T, but he was too much of a subservient to white Americans. And then I also read that Marcus Garvey said he didn't trust light-skinned Black Americans as well.
Yeah. Well, it was a context though when he said that. It was a reason when he went up to the NAACP and he was talking about how it was classism in there, and he was telling the truth. Them Negroes, I really didn't rock with the Boise until he got old. The Boise, he's like the father of the civil rights movement. My guy was Martin Delineating, who they try to write out of history. Henry Highland Garnett was the ones kicking up dust, and they was like the fathers of Black nationalism. It wasn't Marcus Garvey. He took basically what Martin Delany was saying, but Frederick Douglass and Martin Delany didn't get along. So American Blacks got Frederick Douglass, not Martin Delany, who was the actual father of Black nationalism, not Marcus Garvey. So,
I'm taking Frederick Douglass over Martin Delany.
Oh, you're definitely taking Frederick Douglass. Yeah.
We could debate on that on another time.
America blow up. Any one of them that they blow up and the white man put them right here as they people, I'm going to the one they do in the alleyway, because that's the one that was really forced.
You don't know the history of Frederick Douglass, brother. That's clear. But we could build on that, and we should.
Yeah.
We should.
I ain't saying he wasn't that dude. I'm just saying if you ask most young people about Martin Delany,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I never heard of him. But
Martin Delany pretty much was like the first Pan-Africanist. He was first on some going to Africa, getting up out of here. The Civil War breaks out, and he's like, you know what? I have an opportunity now for my people to get free.
The devil, all that.
Martin Delany was about that work. He was about that life.
Bring Gray in on it. So, what are your thoughts, Gray, on Marcus Garvey, ally or grifter?
The Honorable Marcus Garvey was definitely an ally. I like that he tried to get the Africans together very early on, and I do feel like Booker T. Washington was way more submissive than W.E.B. Du Bois, and I feel like FBA is the new Booker T. Washington of 2025.
I take that somewhat of an insult. I wouldn't even say there were either or.
I asked him a question, Dana, based off of what he just said though. What do you know, like from when we talk about FBA, what is FBA to you? Like, because you're saying these things, yeah, but without the insults, with just from a educated perspective. Why? Because remember, why are Black Americans saying this, right? Why are we saying this? Where are we getting this from your perspective?
From my perspective, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think that it is a conservative right-wing agenda to make Black people Republicans and to make Black people elitists over Black immigrants.
Well, see, this week is difficult because I think, and no disrespect, but I think a lot of y'all go tone deaf because you don't strike me as a stupid person. You hear us when we talk. You hear us when we say we're not against the immigrants. Now, you have some rogue people online, you don't know, that just go and just say wild stuff. We're saying we're separating like every other group does, and we're having our own identity. A lot of our stuff has been hijacked. When you look at a lot of the executive orders, not the Civil Rights Bill, executive orders that's on the books, they were specifically for Black Americans. It's been hijacked into people of color. Other groups are now coming in and getting what our grandparents and your grandparents for starting line, starting from the beginning, right? While other groups are coming here benefiting and looking down on us. So Black Americans are saying, hey, we want to separate, and we don't want to be looked at as a person of color. We want to be this group and this specific group. That's what we're saying, right?
But he's saying, what Gray is saying, just like with the NARC and the IBWs and the Pan-Africans, what Gray is saying, I don't mind sharing the pot with our brothers and sisters and then the diaspora for everything. And for me, it is a cutoff, especially when we're talking about reparations. I'm not sharing that with nobody. That's for us here. So, and it could be there's other things as well. But Gray and people like Gray are saying they don't mind sharing, and we should share.
But see, Dana,
can I say something, Dana?
Real quick, I'm gonna land here. Real quick, I'm gonna land right here. Just 45 seconds. What I'm saying to you is, when you look at your grandparents, right? The Puerto Ricans and all these other groups wasn't here in large numbers. That was our grandparents in the South and up here in the North. Forget the civil rights. They're executive orders, federal law, executive orders that was on the books that was specifically for us. They hijacked it and turned it into people of color. So we're trying to get that back because some of us understand civics and understand what happened, right? So what I'm saying is when you say the stuff that you said, you're undermining what we're actually doing instead of coming to us and saying, yo, could y'all really educate me on what's going on? It ain't got nothing to do with no fringe group trying to be Republican. It has nothing to do with that. So I'm laying there.
So my question would be like with the reparations, like how Naheem and Dana was both talking about their ancestry and how Naheem said, well, I have no Native American on mine. Mine is European and then just African. So like how would we like disperse this if this really was going to happen? They were going to say, okay, yeah, we're going to pay these people. Yeah, we're going to like make right on this 40 acres and a mule. We're going to do this for these people. I feel like how would they actually do that scientifically? Like who actually is going to be able to get that?
So the United, okay, Sister Dana.
Oh, no. Go ahead. And then I'm on.
Right. So the United States of America has a very good recording system when it comes to documentation. The Freedmen's Bureau's records alone, just 2 or 3 years ago, about 3.5 million records have been digitized and uploaded to, I believe, the Smithsonian's website. The 1865 census lets us know exactly who was freed. The 1870 census lets us know exactly who was freed in 1870. We know who we are. We know exactly who we are. Every immigrant that has ever come to this country every person who is the descendant of immigrants, or what I call Ellis Island immigrants that have come to this country, know exactly where their grandparents came from, which means that the United States of America knows exactly where their, let me be more clearer, great-great-great-grandparents came from. This idea that you wouldn't know or be able to discern. See, this is an excuse. You are or would be, Armante, a beneficiary of reparations. Right now, you're making an argument for people that are not eligible. And because they know that they're not eligible, they come up with, well, how would we know who's going to get it then? How would we know? These are arguments that we've been debunking for the past 6 years, brother. We know who see, this plays into a broader narrative that we're culturally ignorant, and that because our bloodlines were cut off from Africa, we don't know whom our American ancestry is. But that's just not true. We can name the name. I found my ancestors, my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather Aaron Wade on my father's side in the Freedmen's Bureau's records. I mean, on my mother's side in the Freedmen's Bureau's records. I'm doing the research on my father's side, right? My grandmother and that line that comes through Dillon, South Carolina, like, and getting those records. These things are not difficult. These are things that we can find out on our own because we know our family history. I'm pretty certain, Brother Armante, there's a older aunt, uncle, maybe grandparent that you could call and ask, what was, great-great-granny's, who was that person's father? And they're going to be able to give you a story fresh out of Jim Crow sharecropping. They're going to be able to probably pass down to you stories fresh out of slavery that has been passed down and preserved. These things might not be, Thanksgiving table talk conversations anymore because my grandmother is 90 years old. I had to pull teeth just to get her to tell me one story. And she told me that one story, that her grandfather in South Carolina was so successful on his farm that the whites there were jealous. They were so jealous that they filled up cans of kerosene cans full of kerosene. And in the middle of the night, they walked through the farm with the kerosene, pouring it all over the farmland. And then they lit a match. My grandmother is 90. So her younger sisters, I think 87, 86. And she says that her sister still hears the crying of those horses until this day. So there's a part of the history that they don't want to talk about. But that does not mean that we cannot trace our ancestry back. When you say that, brother, you're making arguments for other people and you're hurting your own prospects of getting what's owed to our people today. To me, it makes no sense.
And it shows we have no, it shows to other groups that we have no cultural integrity. Like we have none.
Okay, so one more thing I want to insert in a conversation, and then I'm gonna read all the super chats. So, and guys, please hit the like button and share the stream. And then you can keep donating as well. African American, the term. So I want to play 2 clips real quick. Do it this way.
To eat my own words and apologize.
Oh, what'd you say about me?
That interview you did with Oprah, where she asked you if you were,
yeah,
African American or whatever. And
you got mad at me?
Listen,
I am not an African American. I'm an American. I am a Black American. I am definitely Black. And yes, my ancestors come from Africa. How long does a bloodline have to live in one land before they are considered a pure species of that land? Meaning, how long did my people have to be in America to say, hey, no, we're American, compared to some people who are English American, who are Irish American, who are German American from their ancestors, but they get to call themselves American. There's nothing wrong with being African American, but a true African American is someone that is from Africa and moved here, either first generation or second generation, and has a tied to that country that I do not have. One of the first census in Virginia that allowed for Black people to have a name was somebody from my family. So that means they were there long before. I think there comes a point where when you build a country, when you fight for freedom, make money and pay taxes and generationally live in a country, you have the privilege to call yourself pure American.
And I have to agree with her on that one. And one more clip, and we can have a brief discussion on this. This one. I'll make this bigger.
You said something earlier in an answer where you said that you talk about native blacks. And so that clearly sounds as if you are delineating native blacks versus someone that comes here from Bermuda or Jamaica or wherever they may they may come from. The purpose of that is what? Because you on the surface it would be like, hey, everybody here that's black gets treated a certain way. Why are you making that delineation?
That is an excellent point. You know why? Because you see, those people coming in from Jamaica or coming in from Africa, they have not been treated like black folk in this country. That's the first thing. And secondly, historically, they haven't had those historical experiences. They come in here voluntarily. When they come in here, they bring some cultural aspects from Africa. They can go back anytime they want. But the black people in this country are exceptional people. Nobody's been mistreated, maltreated like them. Black folk are exceptional. They're the only people that came here forcefully, one. Two, they're the only people that denied their humanity. Three, they were the only people denied a right to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Four, they were the only people denied the right to participate in government. Five, they were the only people denied the right to vote. Six, they were the only people denied the right to have an education. Seven, they were the only people denied the right to have a business. Eight, they were the only people that participated in every war that this country has had since its founding, but whose mother country has never been against this country. All those immigrants come from countries where they fought America, and they came in. And the seven, that they are the oldest and most patriotic people in the country. Not the Confederates in the South. They're not the most patriotic people waving the Confederate flag. The most patriotic people in this country are black people, native blacks, because you see 99% of all those blacks have been direct descendants of slaves. They've been here before 99% of all the other people ever arrived in this country. They are special people. And because they are special people, they need to be recognized, appreciated, and reparated for what they've done in this country and building this country. They're the ones that built the bridges, the roads, cut the timber, the trees, cleared the land, raised the tobacco, cotton, indigo. They're the people that's fought to raise in every war to protect this country. The people coming from Africa or coming from Jamaica didn't. They came here voluntarily. And the most important point on this is if you lump them with black folk, then you give the dominant white society a justification to say we don't owe black folk anything. Mm-hmm. Because you see, the blackness black people's blackness is more than just color. It is their heritage, it's their history, it's their code of conduct, and more importantly, it is their badge of honor, and it symbolizes the indebtedness that this country has to them. This country does not have any indebtedness to people coming from Africa. Mm-hmm. They only have an indebtedness to people coming in from the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. If you lump black folk in there, you deprive black folk of the benefit, the debt that's owed them. Don't do that.
So, the African American term here, is it time, hold on, let me stop sharing it. Is it time to get rid of the African American term? And I did a show on this on Wednesday. Is it time to let it go? I say yes, because it's not benefiting us, it's lumping us with everyone else, and everyone else that are coming here yesterday, right? Who came here yesterday, they have access, like what's his name? Mandandy, who's running for mayor in New York. He used African American and Asian, so he was double dipping to get grants and financial aid and scholarships and all types of resources. So, the term African American, yes, it is, for me, it is time for it to be let go. We don't need to identify ourselves as that. And what say you guys?
That right there, Dana, is what I was just talking about. When they hijack, I gotta I got a thing here that go all the way back from the 1600s up to 2021 to show all the federal laws that was on the books to protect federal laws, and also bills and things that were set from the 1600s all the way up to when the federal government was created to protect black people, right? I got the whole list all the way back from the 1600s, right? What they're saying and what you just said, it goes to show why we have to separate. And I want people to understand this, right? Separation is not because you hate other groups. I know this is the internet, like I said, you got people, just a bunch of crazy people and saying crazy stuff. I don't hate Jamaicans or Haitians. I actually love Haitians, right? And the story of Haiti, right? I'm not into all that, but I'm into my people more, right? And when I see the laws that was put on the books for what my grandparents fought for here, right? And you lump it into people of color, and you got people yelling at. You don't see Latinos ever yelling people of color or Arabs. They're fighting specifically for their group, as they should. Shout out to the Puerto Ricans and Dominicans that want to fight for their group. Why would I be mad at that? They come here from poor countries to make money. They're not connected to our struggle. So they come here to make money. But this is the thing. We're connected to our struggle. So when we say we want to delineate and separate, there shouldn't be no pushback. Because when you look at this, when you look at that Civil Rights Bill 65, it got people of color on there. We got played, we got hoes, we got housed. It don't say specifically for African American or Negro people. It's for people of color. We got played. So now once everything went through that pipeline, it went through all these people of color and not for a specific group that was getting dog sick on them. When they blew up that church and killed them 4 little girls in Birmingham, it wasn't no Jamaican in there. It wasn't no Haitian in there. That wasn't a Dominican. When you have all the things that happened to us here in this country, it was for a specific group of people. So our separation has nothing to do with tethers. The reason why you get called a tether, right? A tether is nothing but an American coon or Sambo. You just from over there, so we got a name for you. That's all. The same way we tell y'all to call out y'all tethers as Black Americans, we call out our sellouts. We got names for them. We call them out all the time, and we've been delineated from them. Yo, we don't rock with that group over there. That's over there. So what I'm saying is we have specific claims that happen to us. And in order for us to get it, we got to separate because they done hijacked it into people of color. So when you see all these immigrants here to Chicago, these sanctuary cities, getting funds for these groups that's specifically supposed to be for us, because on the books, it say people of color, not the Negro people. So federal law can't even protect you because it's not written where it says for the African-American people. That's why when I had this conversation with people, I know that they don't know what they're talking about. And it pisses me off because it shows the other groups that we have no cultural integrity. And that's why they come into our community and extract all the resources and money out of it. Because we're like culturally stupid sometimes.
Gray or Naeem, you want to comment on the African American? Take it, leave it, keep it.
I would basically say I'm never gonna tell, especially blacks, not to be patriotic and love their country. The only other group that's been through a diaspora other than us, or that I know of, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, is Jewish people. And no matter where they go, they're still technically considered Jews. So I don't know if you can say, hey, we want to take this off. We just want to completely take ourselves away from Africa. I can understand to an extent what that guy was saying. It's like, and even what George is saying, hey, we did this, so we deserve to be paid for it. But I just feel like overall that if you're gonna say, hey, this is why we should be paid for it, we did this labor for free, we should talk about everybody that's done the labor for free. Because if you look at what happened in Germany, Jews were compensated and they were all over. So that's my take on it. But if you want to consider yourself an American, I feel like you have the right to do that. But I don't feel like society is going to not look at you as being black or attaching you to as an African American.
So Africans going to accept this too? You think Africans going to accept this?
Accept you how?
No, you said when you said about us attaching to America, you think the Africa you love, you support, you think Africans going to accept us?
No. I think if you went there and you said, hey, I want this, then you could be discriminated against, as well as you'll be discriminated against here. And that's unfortunately what happened to our ancestors. And that's why we're here in this situation.
And I will say this, Gray, you're a veteran.
Yes, I am.
And Gray is a veteran. Gray is a hardcore Democrat through and through. So he's not, and people in the chat was like, you should have got a better Pan-African. He's not Pan-Africanist. He's not a Pan-African person, but he does agree with a lot of their perspective and
Affleck. Affleck.
And he's a Democrat, liberal, and he is a veteran. You Marines?
No,
Army, but veteran. He fought. So yeah. So yeah, and you know, that's you. I respect people's opinions and perspective, whether I agree or disagree.
And let me say this, Dana.
Let me touch on that.
But my bad. If y'all get a check, I still want my check, even though I said all of this. I just want that to be.
Y'all get a check, I'll still.
You keep saying
y'all get a check.
If we get a check,
you separated yourself from us, brother.
I think I want to look at your 23andMe papers.
No, not his 23andMe. We need to see what Granny and Grandpa line looking like on one side or another of that bloodline. Something ain't adding up here, Sister Dana. Oh, something ain't adding up here. I done heard it for the past couple
why
years.
You keep saying y'all and the black?
Yeah.
I'm not turning down no free money. If they say, "Hey, FBA, get the check," I'll be right there with y'all with the FBA sign. Hey, I need my check. I need.
You're just not going to be out there fighting for it.
Not right now. Right now, I just feel like
if you could see yourself getting a check quicker, aligning with the African Union, you're going to do it.
Hey, behind the scenes, just let me know.
Naeem?
It's the grift that keeps on giving, boy. I tell you, if you look at Pan-Africanism, we started off talking about, you know, this Pan-Africanist grift, and it's kind of funny. Yep, we have a gray area here, indeed. So we did a live stream a couple years ago titled "Is African American a Deal Breaker?" Because we wanted to put a lot of, I'm not a fan of the term African American, first and foremost, but we wanted to put a lot of the myths to rest. You know, there's a lot of myths when it comes to the term African American, and people are making up narratives and they're running with those narratives. They believe that Jesse Jackson is the one that made up this term, as opposed to being a spokesperson for a group of men that started meeting in the 60s, where this conference culminated in Gary, Indiana in 1972, and they decided that they were not going to use the derogatory terms Negro and Black anymore. And they chose the term Afro-American and African American. So what was supposed to happen was African American was supposed to represent us in the same way that Nigerian American or Jamaican American or Liberian American represents those quote unquote blacks from outside of the United States of America. Just to be clear, I'm not one of those people that believe that only our people are black. I just think that's a silly argument. The Europeans gave us that label back in the 1300s on the continent of Africa. That's something that they called us. So I want to just throw that in the fray as well. But what happened in 1997 is that Special Directive 15, which was established in 1977, which created the racial classifications that we have now, took African American and included it in its definition of black. And when it did that, the term African American no longer became something that was unique to us. It became something that everybody could plug into. Everybody pull up Federal Directive 15. 1977 is going to come up. Today it's called Special Policy Directive 15. And because of that, we have people who are second generation, whether they come from Africa, whether they come from the Caribbean, who call themselves African American. And I gotta say rightly so, because when you look at the definition of black from that 1977 definition of Federal Directive 15, it's very clear. It says black, any of the black people that have origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. This is the definition. I may have messed up in the beginning a little bit, but the rest of it is verbatim. Any person having origins in the black racial groups of Africa, I believe is what it says verbatim. So that's going to describe an African American. That's going to describe a Caribbean. That's going to describe a European. That's going to describe a Chinese person if you really think about it, because all people descend from our people genetically, right? When we're looking at race as the fictitious construct that it is and looking at us as humanity. But we're in the United States of America and they deal with race. And because of such, those leaders in the 1970s at that conference in Gary, Indiana, they wanted to disaggregate and say, look, this is who we are. Now, there was still a Pan-African tint there. And the problem with that is why we had a conflation of Black and African American in 1977 when I think it was, who controls that? The Census Bureau or the CDC? I'm not sure. When they decided to add African American on to the Black category. So, of course, I could get so much deeper into all of this stuff, but, I can't do that, obviously. So I'm trying to be as brief as possible. But yes, I agree with Raven Simone. I agree with Dr. Claude Anderson. I actually have a paper pulled up called I ain't gonna get into it. It's called When Diversity for Diversity's Sake Is Not Enough. Should Black immigrants receive the benefits of affirmative action at the detriment of Native Blacks? So that term Native Black that you hear Claude Anderson using is not in reference to any Native American bloodline. It is an academic term that was being used at the time to denote our people who actually descend from emancipated persons, those people obviously emancipated from the slave labor camps in this country.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right, let me get to the super chats. And you know what? Thank you so much, David Johnson, the asshole, honey. You're my man tonight. He was kind of making it rain. So he says, Pan-Africans, through their blind loyalty, would have us slaves to these Africans. Meanwhile, we Israelites have always told y'all, don't trust them bushmeat eaters. They always envied us. Oh my God. Thank you, David. Wim says Pan-Africanism, good in theory, but bad investment. I agree. And that's a great point. Alan, the fourth section of the 14th Amendment is against reparations. Without international groups, you will not get reparations. Malcolm X knew this. And no, that's not. First of all,
That's false.
section in the 14th Amendment has nothing to do with reparations.
Wait, say that again, Dana?
He said the fourth section in the 14th Amendment is against reparations. Now, I know an amendment does have different sections, and I guarantee you nothing in the 14th Amendment has nothing to do with reparations.
Watch this, sis. Watch this. The First Amendment of our Constitution states that we as citizens have the right to petition our government for the redress of grievances. I don't know what this guy is talking about. People are just making up stuff because they don't know what they're talking about. I want to repeat that real quick before I shut up. The First Amendment states that we as citizens have the right to petition our government for a redress of grievances. Whenever you see reparations paid, I'm going to send you a bunch of links, Dana, to your email. I'm going to send you a bunch of stuff so you can see like credible sources, not this crazy stuff that people can just put in.
Use when I do my shows. So
that's
yeah.
right. That's right.
And real quick, Malcolm X, he was not for reparations for everyone throughout the diaspora.
Right.
He wanted his organizations, the OUAA. I know I'm saying it wrong. OAU. He wanted to link up with other African nations, and it's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're talking about whether it's business. But when it comes to public policies here, especially during that time, when it comes to reparations here, that's something separate. That has nothing to do with sharing it with other countries or continents. See, and that's the difference. Because you got to look at it. If we are, let's just say, oh, we all agree to link up with the African Union, who won't be in charge of it? And what is that going to look like?
But
so,
look, Dana, but that's why we were saying, and I'm watching the chat as you're talking. It's some trolls in there, and one guy got a name Panama Jack. So you got Panama on your thing, and I'm sure he's proud to be Panamanian, right? He's proud. He'll hold that Panamanian flag and be all, if he's from New York, all up in Brooklyn with the immigrant crew. He'll do that. But for us to say, hey, we want to have a little something separate. We don't dislike y'all. We love y'all. Y'all come to America. We patronize y'all stores. Y'all make money off the Black American dream. We always loved y'all. But the minute we say we want to do this, all of a sudden it's disrespect. No. What happens is they're afraid because they say the jig is up. If we was able to separate and force the federal government to recognize us as a separate group, now they can't benefit from what we fought for anymore. That's the problem. So they have to have, see, I tell people all the time on my channel, other groups benefit from our dysfunction. So a lot of these immigrants, when they come here, and I'm going to say this, I want y'all to hear what I'm saying, the FBA family. A lot of immigrants might come into this country. They may not dislike you, but their lifestyle is predicated on your dysfunction. They come right into your community to make money, not the white folks' community. So they build their American dream based off of your dysfunction. If you had yourself together and you control the politics in the community and the property and everything, they wouldn't be able to just throw them in your community. You would have say so. You would say, no, this is ours. We built it. So now when you start waking up and you start to say, hey, we want to self-identify now. We want to be this. And all we need now, and Brother Naeem know what I'm talking about, is the civics that go with saying we FBA. Now we have to understand how the laws work in order to force the federal government to do what we need to do. That's the one thing that's not there is us learning the civics part. Am I wrong, Naeem?
But Naeem,
no, definitely. Civics is definitely key. That's what we do at United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. We teach civics.
Right,
We've been teaching civics for the longest.
All right. So David, again, he says, we ain't got no friends, Palms 83. And that's totally okay because we got God and he's more than enough. God said he will reveal and humble our enemies in front of us. Palms 6:10. Thank you, David. L says, Dana, where can I put an application to be in the friend zone?
Damn, they shooting shots from they shooting shots. Hey, it's worth the super chat though.
Yeah, well, I'm taking applications this fall.
Okay. Shooting shots from
Roger. We voted 98% and 08 for Obama. Yes, we expected something. Yes. First of all, MAGA is giving Trump hell. I gotta find me a panel with a whole bunch of MAGAs, honey. I gotta do that because
that's a whole nother panel discussion with the farming and all that stuff.
But let me just say this to that point. They giving him hell. He had to be like, damn it, please release the grand jury transcript.
Yes, release something.
White people
I've been following that heavy the past couple days, about the past week and a half as well.
I'm talking about it. Well, because you know why I'm tired? Because white people will throw it in. They don't care. They're not going to let up. They don't play around. They will burn shit the fuck down. So yeah. So he know better.
Hey, Dana, white people had to go through what we've been through for 2 days. They would burn this whole country down. For 2 days, they burn this whole country down.
Turn around and sue. They'll turn around and sue after that. Thank you, Passport King. Obama created DACA for illegal aliens. He sent money to neo-Nazis in Ukraine. He pushed gay marriage. Obama only gave us FBA disrespect. Yeah. Disrespect by his actions and his words. David, again, Barack Obama reminds us of old player uncle that just be saying a whole lot of slick nothing, but he thinks he's cool. Yeah, the slickster. she is 100% wrong. She needs to study history. That was the clip of the Hispanic chick. And who, thank you, Chad, for that. People who with us ain't trying to fight us. We just saying. Thank you, David, again. Oldville, you got millions of FBA men with Greek letters burnt on them, Dana. Oh yeah, this wasn't a super chat, but I thought this was to the point that kind of made Gray's point when something he was saying how black people trying to be white.
Yeah.
And this here kind of proves the point a little bit, Gray, because you do have these fraternities burning Greek letters into their body. And Greek, it has nothing to do with Africa or black or native or nothing. So, touche. It's kind of a little bit of a point. On Dana, Naeem got data when you see, yes, he was coming with the slides tonight. Thank you, David. Again, we set our own trends and they all follow us. We are the culture. #FBA all day. Marcus Garvey was talking about the boule. Okay. Don't be talking about shit when it comes to Black Americans. That's what do you think about Ibrahim Toure from Burkina Faso? I think he's doing a damn thing. Listen,
I like him.
I like him. He is not, he's not focused on what Black Americans are doing, what Ghana, Nigerians. He ain't focused on none of that. He focused on his country and bringing in heavy hitters like Russia that's going to help his country, especially when it comes to military, protecting him. But he's building within his country. And he said, France, get the fuck out. He is, for me, he is the reincarnation of Thomas.
Sankara.
Yes, Thomas Sankara. Yes, and that it always happens. You're going to get a reincarnation of the first great person to try and make that change, and the life was cut short. But I think with Ibrahim Toure, I don't think he's not going to have a tragedy in like Thomas Sankara. So I support what he's doing, but he is focused on his people as he should. Anybody want to say something real quick about him?
Well, I'm gonna be controversial. My only thing is, until Africa have a military where they can properly defend those resources, because the resources in Africa shapes the world, and the European nations will be willing to start World War 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 before they give up those resources there. So I don't believe like a lot of those Africans and stuff until I can see Africa having some form of at the table or telling the white man to shut the F up and they can defend it. Until the African can do that, all that stuff to me is smoke and mirrors. Because that's just the way the world works. I mean, if I'm in the playground and I ain't strong enough to tell the bully to shut the F up, then I ain't got no say so. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Let me, if I can, real briefly. What country is that again?
Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso. See, the problem is Burkina Faso, if I'm not mistaken, geographically is a small country compared to other African countries. And the key phrase I just said was African countries. There's no United States of Africa. I know this is something that the African Union wants to do, and I'm not opposed to that. I actually support that. I'm opposed to Pan-Africanists who live in this Wakanda-like fantasy over here in the United States, injecting us into something when we haven't figured out home yet. I cannot run. Imagine this. Your house is on fire. You look out the window and you see your neighbor's house is on fire. You go fill your buckets up and take the buckets of water and start throwing it on your neighbor's house while your home is burning down. This makes absolutely no sense. This is my problem with Pan-Africanism, and it convolutes what could be a good relationship. When you look at so-called white supremacists, they are one. It doesn't matter if they're Anglo-Saxons, if they're of German descent, Irish descent, etc., etc. They are one. We should be this way. This was the goal of Pan-Africanism when you look back at who the true father of Pan-Africanism is. What is his name? William Blyden. I'm forgetting his middle name.
I don't know.
Edmund William Blyden, right? He said that he wanted to mimic Zionism. Now, I don't know if that's a good example because we're going to put our modern lens on it today. But back then in the 1800s, he looked at that global diaspora, if you will, and said, this is something that we need to do. We need to be one people based on, obviously skin tone and the fact that we all descend from that. He had the right idea. Somewhere along the line, that idea got snatched. It got distorted. Garvey comes in with his Garveyisms. He does grift. We call him on our end again, the Messiah of mission drift. Some of the people that was down with him, like Hubert Harrison, who was from St. Lucia. This dude came over here and was like, now I'm not on that downing the American Negro. I'm trying to help build them up. I'm not going to do what Garvey is doing. And he broke off from Garvey, etc. There's a lot of different elements to this conversation.
We don't have time to go out.
I know. We can't go through all of them, but I just wanted to touch on some of them. Definitely.
Right. There's too many of them. That's why I don't deal with it.
There's a lot.
Ballet dancer NJ says character holding their hands together saying thanks. Oh, it's an emoji. Thank you, ballet dancer. David again says Pan-African died on the reparation hill. The irony. Yeah. David. Oh no, that was David Johnson. Oh, this is another David Johnson. The term African American gotta go. We're the chosen people of God or foundational Black Americans. Catalia, she says, Gray estás hablando como un loco. I think she's calling you crazy. But in a loving way.
For sure.
I love your content, by Nora. What do you call the so-called Blacks here before slavery that were numerous in number and they weren't African? The old maps show these dark skin.
No, it don't.
No, please don't elaborate, Naeem, because we're gonna have to put a pin in that because I'm gonna create a panel, honey. You're gonna be on it, but I need to bring in other people because I am gonna be one of the antagonists against you.
Bring them out. I love the smoke. You already know it's free smoke over here all day.
So yes,
what LL Cool J said, female rappers too. I don't give a boo. Bring the smoke. We gonna get it in.
There were dark people here before slavery. Yes, there were.
Okay. There may have been a few, but let's have that conversation one day.
The girl Shine, thank you so much, says Dana, the African Union took our story to get U.S. funds. Correct. They actually added FBAs to the AU as reason 6 under the jurisdiction without our permission or consent. Thanks, Dems and the CBC. Yes. And that's why I'm going to dig a little bit deeper with that whole thing. For a second, George? Because I can hear whatever you're playing from. LOL, Alonzo, thank you, says, LOL, any race-based claims will be defeated by the 14th Amendment. Indian Treaty of 1866 is where we should have declared ourselves a nation and not for integration. We have no redress internationally. What is this with the 14th Amendment? Any race-based claims would be defeated by
that part of it is correct. That part of it is correct. The second part is wrong.
I don't know about the second part, but reparations is not a race-based, it's a lineage.
But what he's saying is any race-based claims will be defeated by the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause. That's a fact. It's just the second part is problematic.
FBA isn't hatred. We just want respect. Thank you, SOV, the Dark King. And that's it. Listen, I'm gonna go around, let you guys, have your closing remarks. I do want to say, first of all, thanks to everybody that donated. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate everybody in the chat, everybody listening. I like doing these panels on a Friday. Some Fridays I don't do it, but for the most part, that's the thing, to do panels on Fridays. And I would love to have all you guys come back on future panels as well. So I want to thank you for being here. Thank you to the donors. Thank you to the listeners and everyone in the chat. And I saw a lot of Pan-Africans, honey, in that chat, honey. I was mad, but I think this whole conversation was respectful. Yes, we could disagree, but you don't have to be nasty. I just came across some nasty Pan-Africans on X. And it's just like, y'all just doing too much, to where you make your group look crazy. So let me go around. I'm gonna start with Gray, honey. Gray don't care. It could have been 100 people in here. He gonna stand his ground. So y'all gonna put some respect on Gray name. Go to the new party, at the new party on YouTube, and subscribe. I don't know why y'all don't put your social media handles in your name area, but whatever. I did put the link to all y'all YouTube channels in the description, so y'all guys could go and subscribe, and I'm gonna put it in the comment section as well. So Gray, what are your closing remarks?
First off, Dana, thank you for having me. It was great, George and Naheem. I actually did learn a lot. You guys are very intelligent. You guys know a lot of stuff, so I did learn a lot of stuff. As far as the Burkina Faso, what's the name of the African country?
Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso. Like how we said, like basically, like him taking control and him taking initiative and him trying to actually make a difference. You guys have respect for them. So what I would say to the people that have an issue with FBA, if you work hard and you do something that does better for your country, for your people, I feel like FBA will be more likely to be down with what you guys have going on. It was a great discussion. I like you guys' passion. I'm FBA myself, as far as the definition. So the fact that you guys are fighting for FBAs, I respect that. Even though we may think differently on how we can get reparations, I respect y'all passion, and it was good to see. So thank you for having me. I hope we can do content again.
Definitely, always. I don't know, Naeem. Go ahead, Naeem.
All right, definitely. Thank you, Sister Dana, for having me on again. Definitely an edifying conversation. George Macon, I'm definitely familiar with you, brother. We've definitely been on, I think, a couple platforms together. So, it's definitely good to see you on the right side of the argument on this. Coming up in that conscious community, boy, that was WWE over there. So you already know what time it is. And brother Armante, I'm glad you held your ground. I would hope that you would go back and watch this video and look at some of the resources that I've provided. Check out our YouTube channel, Be the Power. Check out our website, bethepower.org. Check out our other website. We have a dope article on reparations on usadof.org. That's the name of our nonprofit, United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. We are about that work on this side of things. We've done some things, and it's like really the tip of the iceberg. I look forward to sharing with the rest of the family more of our future successes. So again, shout out, Sister Dana. Thanks for having me.
1 second, George. Let me just read this. Thank you, that girl, Sean. Will the panel present an action plan for us to go forward against this African Union situation? Should we petition Donald Trump regarding this? Thank you so much. I will have that information. I'm gonna have that information when I do X Space on Sunday, Monday when I do the live show with the judge, and then when I do my show on Wednesday, I'll have that information as well. And then I'll repeat that same information on Friday for the next week, Friday for the next panel. So yes, that is definitely coming. And I want everyone to follow these guys on their channels and their platforms as well. So go ahead, George.
So check it out, right? So check it out. Pan-Africanism is a global political and cultural movement that aims to unite and empower people of African descent both of the African continent and throughout the African diaspora. It stands for solidarity, freedom, self-determination, and liberation from all forms of oppression, equality, especially colonialism and racism. So this is the thing. When us delineating and separating as a specific group of Black people is actually Pan-Africanism. Because Pan-Africanism is unifying all of the groups around the world that have different flags, right? All the 52 countries in Africa, all throughout the diaspora. So how are y'all mad at FBA for saying, hey, you guys over there are Nigerians, you guys are Burkina Faso, you guys are Senegal, that's Haiti, that's Trinidad, that's the Blacks in Brazil. But all of a sudden we can't have an identity? That don't even make sense. It makes no sense. You guys can have all your identities, but Black Americans, we have to be the bowl. The bowl that makes the salad, we got to be the bowl that holds everything up, and everybody could just put whatever they want in the bowl. We can't self-identify ourselves. Like, where do they do that at? So the thing is, the next step to Black people identifying as FBA is understanding civics now. How do we books for specifically for FBA people move? It ain't no more conversations to talk about. The minute we say we're going across the street to identify as a specific group, the next conversation should be civics, nothing else. So, and I'll end here. We are all grown-ups on this panel. Everybody on this panel, I guess, is grown-ups. We don't have to be on here disrespecting, cussing. You can have a different opinion. Because we identify as FBA, and everybody that identify FBA as a lineage. Everybody don't agree with Tariq's. The way that he do things, that don't make you not FBA. You got some FBAs that's cool, sellouts, Sambos. You got some FBAs that's in the middle. They don't know where to go. It's a lineage, not just an organization or a group. So we all not going to agree on everything. But the thing is, I don't have to come and call you a tether. I'm focusing on FBA business and what we need to do. I get along with other groups, right? But I don't get along with the tethers. If you come in, you acting like an American Sambo, then you're my enemy. I don't want to rock with you. But I'm not a guy that just because you are an immigrant, I'm going to call you a tether. I don't get down like that. I'm a grown man. I don't operate like that. I respect everybody, and I expect the same respect back. So I think that we can have these type of conversations when we start to get through to the brothers and sisters in the diaspora. We don't say we hate you. We just identifying ourselves the same way you identify yourself. Allow us to do what you do. That's all.
And George, I'm 36, just so you know.
Oh yeah, you the baby on it,
My man was like, you ain't putting that 45 on me.
Oh man, he ain't even nowhere near 45.
He's like, you ain't putting that on me right now. Like, I got like 10 more years.
Right. Thank you a lot.
Hey Dana, I wasn't even walking him to school. I was out the house already. By the time he saw him go to school, I'm the older brother.
Thank you, Alonzo. He says Chase McGee wrote a book, 19 White Men Who Admitted They Were Black People in the Americas, Black Natives, Yamazi Gulali, Black as Car Tires, Yamazi, and I know I'm probably saying the name wrong, sorry. Yamasi War, 1715 to 1717. There were other tribes here.
But he's not connected to any of those tribes. His bloodline doesn't go.
We don't know, Naeem. We don't know. You just because you did your 23andMe and you got your 1%, you think everybody got 1%.
0.65 or 0.6. No, it ain't even that. So let me just real quick. Let me say this really brief. My problem with the whole "we was here and we're indigenous" claim is that none of the people, when I asked them, what is your oldest indigenous ancestor's name before the pale skin nations of Europe came here?
You gotta hold that right there, Naeem, because we are not. We gotta say that for the panel, honey. And I
got you.
Push back.
I got you.
Yeah, because we can say the same about anything else. But all right, guys, listen. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I really appreciate you. Definitely going to have you back. Check out the new party. I check out the new party period. Yeah. go and subscribe to each and every one's YouTube channel. Their link is in the description. I'm gonna put it in the comment section, and they will be back. Oh, and let me just say this, FYI, George and Naeem, when y'all on the panel again, if you want, I could connect your channels to this restream and then stream it live while we're live if you want to do that. Because the new party, I do that with the new party.
So do I have to have Restream? Because I use StreamYard.
No, you would just have to give me access to hook your channel up to my restream.
Okay.
So, and then so I could do that with you and do it. So when we do a panels and you guys are on here, you could be streaming live to your audience as well.
Okay.
And then if you want to go chop it up and upload it and stuff like that, you could do that.
What's going on, bro?
Hey, I got 3 FBA grandparents from Florida, right? Watch this. 3 FBA grandparents, Florida, Virginia, and Georgia, right? But then I got a Cuban grandmother, right? So I got a lot of that. I got like 18% native in me, but I know where it comes from. Right?
Can we not have this? We're not having this conversation.
No, I know we're not. I just wanted to just give them that, but I ain't because I'm 62%.
Because Gray, he may come back with his papers, but like I got 20% native.
Yeah. I'm gonna put my 23 in me up. I'm 62% sub-Saharan African. 62%.
All right. Thank you, guys.
I got 3. You got 4 grandparents.
I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't think I'm gonna do my. I don't know. I gotta do my 20. I guess. I don't know. I'm just gonna ask my mother about our history.
Nah, just do that 23 and me. Let's pull that 23 me.
Well, ask your mom too. Though.
Don't come on here and talk about what my grandma said.
But I'm just
Indian.
So, all right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Everybody have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week, Friday. But you guys will see me live again on Monday. But the panels be back next week, Friday.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Y'all have a good night.
Honey, I don't have my outro ready or nothing. Here we go. There you go. Right there. Thank you, guys. First of all, thanks to everybody that donated. I love you most of all. Love you, Katalia. Everybody that was listening. Everybody in the chat. Like and share. Thumbs up. And have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Stay blessed. And yeah, just respect others, respect yourself, and I will see you Monday with Man Up Monday with Judge Joe Brown, Wednesday Dana with the Data, and the panel will be back next week Friday. And thank you to everybody that came on the panel: Gray, Naeem, George. Like I said, go and follow these guys. They do great content. Support, subscribe, like, and share their content. And I just want to thank them so much for coming on my platform. All right. Good night. Bye.